Hello, I'm Pastor Dave, the pastor of New Life, a global Methodist church in State College, PA. Now, this is our Monday recap of the sermon from this previous weekend as you work through the next step questions and seek to apply the message from Sunday into your life. Now, the passage we had this last Sunday was from Luke chapter 5, verses 1 through 11. And here are the main takeaways from that sermon. First is that people will respond to Jesus' message. Now, we hope this is going to be a positive response since gospel literally means good news. But there are always some who will respond negatively. But when we look at Jesus' message, it is an attractive message to people. We see people responding to the messages he gave and to his miracles. And it is a reminder that there is a response aspect to our faith. But also from this miracle, we can see something very practical. It's kind of an obvious thing that Jesus could see what others could not yet see. Yes, God is all-knowing, and yes, there are limits to human understanding and perception. But this is one of those lessons we do need to constantly think about to apply to our lives, because there are times we think we do know better than God, and sometimes we rely more on ourselves when we should be relying on God. And Jesus' actions in telling the men where to dip the nets truly is a reminder that God knows better than us. And in this passage, we also get a lesson on how we should react. And this comes from Peter's actions, because Peter was willing to try again and did not give up. Sometimes Peter doesn't always get it in that time when he was following Jesus in his earthly ministry. But in this passage, we see why Peter is the rock upon which Christ would build the church. Because after a long night of fishing, when he was tired and people would fully understand if he said, "I'm going home, I'm done," instead, he goes back out and does what Christ tells him to do. And that is a reminder for us that even when we're tired, even when we're not sure why we're doing it, if God is telling us to do it, we should be like Peter and do what Christ asks us to do. But then there's also the practical side of this. And in that we see that there are always people who need to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's the metaphor when we talk about being fishers of men in the classic Sunday school song. And when we see this miracle, it is actually a reminder that there are the lost who needs to be found. There are people who still need to be caught for Christ, who hunger for the answers the church has to the questions they're trying to find the answer to. And if they don't hear it from the church, who knows where they're going to go? And there is also a deeper message in this too, and it comes from the language that was used. Because out of the chaos of the world, God can produce a tremendous catch. This really goes into the words, the Greek words that were used by Luke. Because the word where they were fishing was the deep. It's the same language used in Genesis chapter 1, verse 2 for the deep, or the chaos of the primordial thing before creation. That sometimes is just considered the chaos. And in our chaotic world, there are still people who need to hear the gospel. There are still people Christ wants us to reach. We just have to be willing to keep trying. So there you go. Hopefully this helps refresh your memory of the message from yesterday. And if you would like, you can go onto the Facebook page and rewatch the entire service, or go onto YouTube and watch the sermon again. But that's your recap for this week. Just as a reminder, we worship 10 a.m. at the Center Learning Community Charter School, located at 2643 West College Avenue in State College. We stream on Facebook. We put the sermon and other content on YouTube. But until next time, I'm Pastor Dave, and I hope that you find your way to apply God's Word into your life this week.